Raga, proviamo questo. Subire danni fa aumentare la resistenza al danno fino al limite massimo per il resto del combattimento. Facciamo un tentativo.
Acknowledge any gods. Start praying now.
Ah, merda. No. Morto. Ce l'ho fatta. Madonna. Mo qua diventa un casino. Ok. Vai. Via. Merda. Oh, mi distraggo un attimo per... Aiuto. Via. Via. Ultimo. Sì. Mamma mia. Mamma mia. Mamma mia. È stato difficile questo, porca vacca. Che è ancora vivo. Sto ricomponendo, Carol. Non farlo rialzare. Già una volta è stato dura, eh.
Leave him to me. Be gone.
I can't let...
I insist.
Però comunque lui ha scatenato la sua rabbia su gente innocente comunque, eh. Cioè comunque era fuori di testa. Per lo stesso tempo è stato manipolato da Senni. Che è finita mo nel mondo di... nuovamente nel mondo incantato, quindi... Boh. Alla fine la duchessa è quella che ha avuto quello che voleva. Nonostante tutto mi dispiace un po' per il vampirozzo.
My, what a smashing ensemble. You wear it well.
Shut up. I look like a twit.
The caftan is sewn of the best fabrics available, and according to the best tailoring practices. But one must have a modicum of taste to appreciate this. Even the most exquisite robes cover only deficiencies in beauty, never in refinement.
Rather not bicker about taste. Don't like to. It's neither interesting nor productive.
This particular Witcher has an inborn intolerance for formal occasions. Yet he's to attend just such an event shortly. I expect that's the source of his prickliness. So try not to take things personally, Master Taylor. Rather pity him. For in truth, stage fright overwhelms him. He trembles at the thought that he has no notion how to behave in the presence of Her Grace's Majesty.
As well he should. All that being as it may, Toussaint's highest honor, the Order of Vitis Vinifera, demands appropriate attire. The Duchess cannot be expected to drape the medal on a suit of armor caked in mud. Palace protocol places enormous emphasis on form, virtuous tradition, etiquette.
Huh. A tradition which values appearances ahead of all else. Which calls for lordly, glistening triviality and misplaced generosity.
Ceremonies, medals honoring virtues, just keeps coming up.
I've had no reprieve either. And I keep thinking of the last great virtue, compassion. It's the one piece of the puzzle that never seemed to fit.
Mean you suddenly believe the 5 virtues theory, after all we've revealed?
It's not a question of belief, superstition, or old wives' tales. It's a conclusion derived through exercising pure logic. Syanna planned everything in advance. Had we not stopped her, surely there'd have been a 5th victim. One the gossips would have associated with a lack of compassion.
Her plans don't matter now. Can't act on them. Ask the messenger who delivered my invitation to the ceremony. Syanna's in the palace. Courtiers pressured the Duchess to lock her in a tower.
Do you care not a whit who else was in her black book? We've some time before the ceremony. We could still chat with that boot-cleaning urchin. He was the one to pass the victims' names to Detlef. Perhaps we missed something.
Hai ragione, andiamo a parlare con l'illustrascarpe, non è una cattiva idea parlare con l'illustrascarpe, ci vediamo lì. Non ha senso continuare a indagare. Come sai che l'illustrascarpe consegnava le lettere?
Regis, Bootblack didn't say anything about making deliveries when we talked to him. How do you know he handled the letters?
While you basked in glory and tried on new formal wear, I conducted a little investigation of my own. You'd be very proud to see how I conducted myself. I began by concocting an ample supply of boot wash for our enterprising young friend. I'd observed that among street folk, amidst their society as a whole, reciprocity takes precedence over all other codes, and thus no good deed goes unrewarded. Of course, the same holds true for malicious or destructive deeds.
The letters. What's the connection?
When the bootblack arrived to collect his bucketful, he hinted he knew more. Simply put, we'd failed to ask the proper questions when we chatted earlier. It took a bit more tongue-loosening, but ultimately he spoke. He admitted he'd handed Detlef the letters. He knew this information was valuable to me. In providing it, he was simply repaying me.
Vabbè, andiamoci a parlare,
All
raga.
in all, why not check up on that? We'll go together.
I am done, yes. It lies in your hands now to see if you are able to present my handiwork at the ceremony, or if you will first destroy it, crawling about the city's underbelly.
Promise to be careful.
Cioè, cos'altro può esserci da scoprire? Che l'illustrascarpe consegnava le lettere, quindi era d'accordo con Sinny. Vabbè, quindi in che modo potrebbe risolvere ancora la situazione? Ormai quel che è fatto è fatto, Detlef è morto. Sinny è con la duchessa. Boh, magari non so in che modo, anche se illustrascarpe. Ha spennato un sacco di soldi, sto bastardo.
Good to see you. Here for a spiffing? Dirty boots are a stain on...
Need to ask you something.
Yet again? Go on then. I'm a proponent of free speech and I will gladly tell you all I know. But why not get your boots shanked while we jabber?
Guess they could use a spit and polish.
Then I shall take advantage as well. A friend of mine used to say boots should be as clean as the soles that wear them.
Clean boots, clean soles. A fine slogan.
Man in the frock coat. You passed him some letters, remember?
Why, of course. I'm young, got a mind like a steel trap, but...
If you're about to tell me this information will cost me, forget it. How'd you get those letters?
Beggars brought them.
Beggars. Tell us more about them. How many were there?
Why, 4. One for each letter.
Just 4? Sure you didn't get a 5th?
I can't count, you know.
Remember anything else? These beggars have anything in common?
What? Come now. Each was different. Some had mismatched boots, others had no boots at all. Oh, I know! They all had no home!
Kid, my patience is starting to run a little thin. Now think hard.
Chi ha dato le lettere vendicanti?
Where'd they get the letters? They pick them up? Get them from someone?
I don't know. They'd come, hand me a letter, and walk away. I asked no questions.
Geralt, allow me to ask a question. Listen, lad. I'll be glad to mix another batch of that bootshine for you. But you must focus now and tell us all you know. Where can we find the beggars?
Well, at the shelter, most like.
Where's that?
Everyone knows. It's just round the corner. Up those stairs, then right.
Thanks, kid. For your trouble. We must visit the shelter. Look around inside.
Regis sa come comportarsi con i ragazzini, eh?
Your little camp elsewhere. This is a decent district. We need... You? What do you want?
To talk.
Here, that's a waste of breath. We've tried it, only to tire our lips. We'll use other means of persuasion now.
Gentlemen, calm, please.
Either get out along with these flea-ridden vagabonds, or we'll toss you all out. Our patience is gone. This place is no longer a rank refuse dump.
Scram! Decent folk live here.
Decent folk you mention. Mean yourselves?
Why? Do you doubt it?
Hell yes.
Hear that, Artois? He poking insults us. On our own turf.
We should step aside, good fellow. My friend is perfectly capable of settling this unfortunate dispute on his own.
Raga, cioè, ho affrontato un vampiro gigantesco, non mi faccio prendere a pugni da voi. Oh, ma cazzo, ma fa male però. Che puttana. Aia. Aia. Raga, cioè, non posso morire con questi, dai. Un attimo. Niente. Non ci credo. Non ci credo, mi sembra una roba assurda. Che... Oh. Vai giù, pezzo di merda. Vai giù.
All right. I can take a hint. Come, time to go.
I thank you so much for your aid. I tried to reason with them, but they'd have beat me blue had you not come along. I'm grateful. Immensely.
What did they want from you?
They are neighbors. Wish me to take my folk, the shelter, elsewhere. They dislike that I help the beggars. I do not oppose going elsewhere, were we to have somewhere to go. But you've come with a problem, have you? My turn to aid you.
Need some information. Looking for a man who might have mentioned the bootblack in Rue de Garl.
The bootblack? A feisty lad. I know him.
Any of your, wards supposed to meet him recently or soon?
Forgive me. Those I help and I are not so close that I would know. But should you wait, they'll all soon come for their meal. You can question them yourselves.
Thanks. We'll wait. Nice of you to let us.
Qua c'è un colpo di scena, eh? Mi sa che c'è davvero un colpo di scena incredibile.
My dears, I've a matter to address before I serve the soup. These two gentlemen have some questions of you. Pay attention. Answer in brief. For if you draw it out, your soup will go cold. And we wouldn't want that, would we?
Recently, 4 of you delivered sealed letters to the bootblack. I know this.
Does anyone know what the gentleman means? Go on, speak up. Romain?
Why should I squeal? We were all told not to mention the letters. We all swore.
You can tell me, Romain. You were given a letter and you delivered it, right? Good work, Romain. Thank you. Who else?
I got one too. Gave it to the bootblack. And Freshy, he got one. But he can't tell you, as he's not here.
I still have mine. I'm to deliver it 2 days after the Feast of St. Barnabas.
It's a matter of importance to the duchy. Hand it over, or I'll take it from you, plain and simple.
But I was to deliver it personally. Let no one else see it. That is what she said, and she was frightening.
You ought to heed folk who are kind and honest. These men helped me a short while ago, helped all of us. If this individual threatened you, you need not keep the promise you made.
All right, take it. I didn't want to see the boot black anyways. It's always muddy there.
Damn it.
What is it? Another name, truly?
See for yourself.
Well, well. I
Chi è la quinta
must
vittima,
say,
raga?
even I did not expect this. This time you will see to our Duchessa. It seems we underestimated Siana rather grossly.
Judging by this, Detloff was literally supposed to tear her heart out.
Yet first you must snap her neck. Puzzling.
Duchess was to be
L'ultima vittima è la
Detloff's last
Duchessa.
victim. Siana planned it from the start.
Indeed. The logical conclusion, Geralt.
4 seemingly random victims to start. The virtue's their only link. Enough to get folk talking about a righteous, vengeful beast. Obscured the victims' links to Siana, even as she had those she despised killed off one by one, leaving the Duchess for last.
Had she managed to fulfill her plan, none would have questioned the reasons. Most would have thought Anna Henrietta had died for her sins. She was known to show a hard heart on many occasions. Ample proof of a lack of compassion.
Why would Siana murder her own sister? Out of envy? To take power? From an inborn penchant for evil?
Yes, yes, and yes. All seem likely, and none are mutually exclusive. But if you'd like to know for certain, you could always ask her yourself.
Pensi sia una
Think
buona
it's a good
idea?
idea? After all, we foiled her carefully planned scheme. Think she'll even want to?
Talk to you? Would it harm you in any way to try? Some philosophers think empirical examination the sole path to knowledge. I believe you mentioned the Duchess keeps Siana locked up.
Courtiers were insisting on a harsher punishment. Much harsher. Think Anna Henrietta had to protect her sister from a lynch mob as much as she wanted to protect her subjects from a criminal. One way or another, she's locked away in a secluded wing of the palace, awaiting trial before a court of law. I'd need to get past some guards to see her. Coming with?
Of course not. I shall await you at Mare la Chaise-Longue. I'll not risk entering the palace after Detloff and his minions rampage. Besides, I vastly prefer the company of a simple mug of mandrake brew to that of the Duchess's vile sister.
So, said straight up, it means you're going off to get drunk because you hate Siana.
I've never been fond of categorical statements of that kind, but I admit I could not vouch for my behavior in her presence. She treated Detloff cruelly, caused his death in the end, and now this? Atop all that? No, Geralt. I will not go with you. I will await you at the cemetery.
Ok, raga. Parla con Damiani, parla con Siana, opzionale. Quindi stavo pensando che tutto il suo discorso che aveva fatto per aveva commissionato gli omicidi perché i cavalieri avevano abusato di lei, l'avevano frustata anche andando oltre quello che erano gli ordini, e che non ce l'aveva con sua sorella. Ma se la lettera della quinta vittima è proprio quella di sua sorella, questo cambia completamente tutto. Cioè effettivamente Siano prova una rabbia assurda per la sorella, e secondo me a questo punto anche talvolta ingiustificata, anche se effettivamente la sorella pensava fosse morta cioè Luca si pensava che Siana fosse morta quando invece era ancora viva e insomma prova ancora odio perché la Duchessa si è completamente dimenticata di lei, insomma. Ehm, proviamo secondo me parlandoci scopriremo di più, anche se è un po' fuori, raga, cioè è un po' come Deathloaf, cioè nel senso che ehm, sono un mix di bontà, cioè di parte giusta e parte sbagliata, nel senso che le motivazioni di Siana possono anche essere in qualche modo giuste, ma la reazione è completamente eccessiva. Come Deathloaf, no? Che le sue motivazioni alla fine è stato usato, era nella parte del giusto.
Want to talk to her? It's important.
Want to talk? Go see your gran at tea time. Not one locked up on the Duchess's orders. No doing without special permission. Period.
Found some information important to her case. Need an explanation, urgently.
Ah, fine then. You're that witcher who solved the murders, no?
Promise to be brief.
Anche Deathloaf comunque nel complesso è stato usato, cioè era vittima di tutto questo, ma la sua reazione e la sua rabbia era completamente eccessiva, anche sfogata su innocenti.
You can take a momentary break.
As long as it's truly but a moment. Highly irregular this.
Cioè sono proprio le reazioni dei soprusi subiti che rendono malvagi questi personaggi.
Artorius' ribbon worked wonders. It's a shame they took it from me.
I know who the fifth victim was supposed to be.
Goodness, you're simply a compulsive snoop. I'm in prison. Deathloaf is dead. Could you not just drop it?
Sienna, stop pretending you couldn't care less. I know it's an act, and it's really starting to wear. Why do you want to kill her?
For such an accomplished investigator to ask about the obvious? Come now, Geralt. Why do you think?
Per invidia, perché ti ha voltato le spalle e ti ha dimenticato la maledizione del sole nero. Non lo so, sinceramente. La maledizione del sole nero?
Might really be the curse of the Black Sun. Word is, cursed princesses often kill their own families.
I see I misjudged you. You understand nothing. Well, what now? Off to share your discovery with Anna Henrietta? Oh, she's no longer in danger, true. But she very well might add a little something to your reward.
Definitely gonna tell her. Not necessarily for the coin, though.
Then why do it at all?
She ought to know. If only 'cause you'll probably try to kill her again if she ever lets you out.
I probably will.
At least you're being honest, finally.
Lying only ever makes sense when there's a chance someone will believe you. It's actually refreshing, in a way, to say what I truly think. So why don't I do it a bit more? I was only ever nice to you to get you to sleep with me. I thought you might come in handy one day. Your comrade Regis is using you, and Anna Henrietta perceives you solely as her unthinking, blunt instrument. She's right to, you know.
Sì, patetica, perché il mio amico regista mi sta usando?
Enjoy hurting people? That it? Sorry, but won't give you the satisfaction. The Witcher mutations, you know. It's hard to draw my blood.
Don't worry. I'll find a way.
Have a nice life, Sienna.
Commander de la Tour would like to see you. Shall we go at once?
Let's go. Want to see him too. Damien.
Geralt, it's about time. Ready for the ceremony?
So chi doveva essere la quinta vittima.
Got some important information. Anna Henrietta was supposed to be Detloff and Sienna's fifth victim.
You are certain of this?
Completely. Found proof.
Inconceivable. How could she? The murders, the mayhem she brought down on the city, were they not enough? She sought to strike down her own sister, her liege. Traitor. I must alert my men. Enlarge the Duchess's honor guard. Make certain Sylvia Anna is closely watched during the questioning. I'll see to it personally. I thank you, Witcher, for alerting me, and I appreciate your attentiveness. Let's begin the ceremony. Come with me. The Duchess awaits.
Facendo questa cosa opzionale forse ho sbloccato il finale. Magari ci sono due finali, raga. Io penso che Detlef sarebbe comunque morto. Non credo di aver potuto interagire sulla sua morte, sulla sua vita. Comunque ha sbarellato.
In the Guild's name, I beg your assistance, your enlightened highness. Without barrels, production will come to a stop, and it will be the end of us.
You lost them all in the fire. These are horrible tidings. Oh, we are most dreadfully saddened.
Yes, your enlightened highness all. Once the beasts had clawed their way into the warehouse, the whole place went up in flames.
I shall dispatch a palace guardsman to examine the site of the blaze. If things are, as you say, fitting compensation shall be paid from the ducal treasury.
Thank you, your enlightened highness. Your Grace, Geralt of Rivia has arrived.
My dear subjects, we come now to our next point of business. Of all the duties which fall upon my shoulders, as the ruler of this dominion, this duty is dearest to my heart. For now, we shall award the Order of Vitis Vinifera, Tuson's highest honor.
Geralt of Rivia, slayer of the beast of Beauclair, step forth.
We bestow the distinction upon the Witcher, who saved Beauclair from the terrible beast. Such is our desire. May this symbol serve as a reminder to all that the Witcher shall forever remain a friend of Beauclair. In more familiar terms now, I thank you immensely, Geralt. Damien has your reward for you. After all, it was but a contract.
Thank you.
I have a small surprise for you, in addition. I give you more than a dozen barrels of Sonreal, a wine normally reserved for the ducal table. The gustatory experience of a lifetime awaits. Are you content?
Ho una brutta notizia, Siana intendeva uccidervi.
I am, and truly grateful, Your Grace. Sadly, I'm afraid I have to sour the mood. It's Sienna. She plotted to have you killed, Duchess. Planned to use Detloff. You were to be the beast's fifth victim.
This cannot be true. You're mistaken. You must be.
I have proof.
I do not believe it. In a moment I shall speak to Siana. Will you assist me? You returned my sister to me, yet what you tell me now I find devastating. I've come to doubt that I can judge her fairly. I'd far prefer to learn you're mistaken, Geralt.
I'm not. In fact, I'd recommend you be particularly careful around her.
You exaggerate, Witcher. She is my sister. I know well how to speak to her.
If my presence will help in any manner, of course I'll stay.
We shall now question a person implicated in the murders which recently ravaged our fair city of Beauclair. Captain de la Tour, show Sylvia Anna in.
The Witcher will take part in our talk.
The Duchess requested I be present.
You have committed crimes. Grave crimes. Yet you are my sister, and my heart does not allow me to treat you as a common criminal. Nor does it let me believe you sought my demise. My heart yearns to know you were swayed by the monster Dettlaff. You yourself would never
Ma
stoop
questo
so
ancora non ha
low.
capito niente.
Thus I have asked Geralt to advise me, as one impartial. I shall now hear what he has to say.
Ciò che conta è il bene del ducato. Siena deve essere punita come ogni altro criminale.
No matter the mitigating circumstances, whatever they may be, Siana is a criminal and should be tried as such. And punished as such. Her guilt is clear.
Your words sadden me greatly, Witcher. But I cannot deny their logic. Siana, you shall be tried and given a fitting punishment. Yet we shall never cease to be family. As Duchess, I shall have to judge you. But as your sister, I shall never stop loving you. Will you forgive me?
Lo uccide.
I shall never forgive you.
Lo sapevo. No. Raga. Ma li avevo anche avvisati. Certo che la duchessa ha voluto essere cieca. Cioè, proprio non ha voluto ascoltare nessuna ragione. Continuava a dare la colpa a Dettlaff di tutto quello che stava succedendo, e l'unica cosa che le importava era, era la morte del vampiro per fermare tutto quello che era successo, quando effettivamente l'unica che diciamo da incriminare era proprio la sorella. Se la sorella fosse stata incriminata, Dettlaff magari comunque sarebbe comunque riuscito a vivere. È vero, avevo avuto come avevo detto, una risposta eccessiva a tutto quanto, ma non era lui il colpevole. Nonostante questo suo continuare a perdonare la sorella, è arrivato perfino a portare la morte della duchessa.
Need some flowers. A wreath, or...
I've none. Sold everything. I was just on my way out. No sense hanging about with nothing to do. Should come as no shock, sir. Had the funeral. Folk took it all. Men, women, children. All wished to lay a bouquet on the Duchess's grave. Windflowers, peonies, gladioli. But she liked common roses best. I know. Her ladies-in-waiting would come here at times. I'd choose the loveliest blooms for her. Fragrant, big petals, the kind that last a long time. I've still not come to terms with it. To be killed by her own sister. How could it happen?
Ho deluso la duchessa. Annarietta si fidava troppo.
Anna Henrietta wanted to believe there was still hope for Sienna, that she'd show remorse. She reached a hand out to her. Too soon. Too trusting.
I know you. You're that witcher from the north. The one that saved us from the beast.
Mm-hmm. Could say that.
Wait here. Take these.
Thought you were out of flowers.
I put a bouquet aside. I was to take it to her myself. But you have it. I know you held the Duchess dear.
How much do I owe you?
Not a copper. Keep your coin and raise a toast in her memory tonight.
Do just that. Farewell.
Mette un fiore sulla tomba di Anna Henrietta. Ma dove ci troviamo? Ma è lunghissimo sto... e non finisce più, è una roba incredibile.
Your boots could use some polish, Baker.
E quindi, vabbè, è delusa no, perché alla fine io ho fatto tutto il possibile, l'ho avvisata, l'ho stravvisata, e quindi datela alla fine, come dicevo, è passato dalla parte del torto per delle reazioni eccessive, ma comunque sia, è stato un personaggio che è stato sfruttato. Devo scendere giù di qua.
Witcher, I was certain you'd departed.
Couldn't. Anna Henrietta was...
Wondrous. Beautiful. Good. The best ruler one could hope to have. Yet I let her down.
Don't be so hard on yourself. No one expected Sienna to do that, persist to the end. And none of us did anything to stop her. 'Cause there was nothing we could do.
I suppose you are right. But when someone so beloved dies, one cannot help but search one's soul for blame. And even the hardiest knights grow faint-hearted then.
Come to pay my respects. Bid the Duchess farewell.
White roses. They were her favorite. Go inside then. She lies in the ducal crypt. In one room with her murderer. Despite my protests.
What? Who decided that?
The Regent's Council. A pack of old men who've statutes and codices for hearts. Ducal blood flowed in Sienna's veins, and she was never legally disinherited. So they ruled she should lie alongside Anarietta.
Cioè, nella stessa tomba insieme alla sua assassina. Metti i fiori su entrambe le tombe.
And all this, what did it bring you? Rest in peace.
Perché alla fine anche se Anna comunque anche lei, come dicevo, ha avuto una reazione eccessiva di rabbia, ma ha subito anche lei tanta sofferenza.
Hope you can forgive me. Rest in peace.
Questo è chiaro, non giustifico le azioni di Sian né quelle di Detlef, però sono tutte azioni provocate.
Yes, this is the kind of eternal resting place I dream of.
Moments like this, I never know if you're joking or serious.
Serious, Geralt, serious. It's remarkably peaceful, subtly charming to the hilt. A perfect match for the Duchess's dignity. Ah, you humans, you'll never cease to amaze me. To feel despair in the face of natural processes to which you are predestined. I've come to take you from this place, my friend. Dare say you deserve a speck of respite after the mad whirl of the last few days.
Sian ha detto che Regis ci stava usando. Ma in che modo? Non è che c'è qualche colpo di scena finale ancora? Non è che ad aver complottato tutto è stato proprio Regis? Non credo, però dai, credo che ormai siamo veramente alla fine.
All those deaths I failed to prevent. I feel pretty awful right about now. Can't help thinking I could have done more. Now Toussaint's left without a ruler, or more accurately, chaos rules here. Hand in hand with despair. Duchess won over people's hearts. All Beauclair now weeps for her.
A mass outburst of emotion. Well, it seems her subjects have adopted some of their recent ruler's traits.
Why the sarcasm? Thought you liked Donna Henrietta.
I did. And I do truly rue her passing.
Me too.
Then let us drink.
Pensavo preferissi le soluzioni complesse.
Always seemed to me you were a very complicated creature by nature. Not one to resort to such simple methods like drinking your worries away.
There exist worries for which they're quite simply.
Whatever you say about Siona, you gotta admit, she was unbending.
That she was. I do admit it. Though, in her case, it would have been better if she had been a tad more, philosophical, pausing from time to time to reflect on the propriety of her actions.
True.
How do you find my personal brew? Not too strong?
Just right.
Credit the local mandrake of the Alrauna diabolus variety for that. The tubers which grow in this area's volcanic soil have an altogether unique flavor profile and display a remarkably uncommon dark brown tint.
Fascinating. All I can say is this batch turned out excellent.
Indeed. It might be wise to stockpile some roots for the future. Would you care to accompany me?
C'è qualcosa ancora che... Raga, c'è qualcosa ancora.
I think you might be forgetting one thing. Fresh mandrake root of this variety is highly toxic, even to a witcher.
Ah, not a problem. I never forget matters of safety and hygiene in alchemy. Here, gloves and a mask.
Thanks.
This moonlight makes me,
Raga, c'è qualcosa che... Boh... Perché ancora tutto questo... questi torpiloqui, cioè queste chiacchiere? C'è davvero qualcosa che non va ancora?
Thoughts? Let me guess. Succubus twins?
No, I was thinking about... Oh, how anything can look interesting when properly lit.
Even an old necrophage corpse?
You've not an ounce of refinement in you, have you?
E qui magari scopriamo che Regis, raga, ci stava... Aveva pianificato tutto lui e ci stava utilizzando. Sarebbe un colpo di scena assurdo.
Now, where'd that bloodsucker go? Won't be easy to track down. He's a vampire, after all. Damn it, where'd you go? Regis!
What?
What I have to do!
Ma che sta succedendo?
Those Bruxay, they called you a traitor.
Alas, we've a very simple code of honor, we vampires. So simple you might call it trivial. Either one is with us, unconditionally, regardless of the circumstances, or...
Won't let it go, will they?
They will not. Fortunately, we've another rule, an unwritten one, and just as trivial as the first. It is neatly summarized in the saying, out of sight, out of mind. That is why I must leave Toussaint. For a vastly long time, most like.
Yeah, I get it.
Let us make for my camp. I've an overwhelming desire to have another drink.
Cioè, non capisco perché non finisce. Perché stanno tergiversando?
Supreme bouquet. Firm, defined beginning. Then develops gently, rising to a startling finish. Don't you think?
Not much of a connoisseur.
Then it is high time you started your education. After all, the Corvo Bianco vineyard is now yours. By the way, I left a gift for you at your new home. On the nightstand.
Thanks. Mind telling me what it is?
A trifle. That will nonetheless be useful should you need mutagens. Incidentally, have you thought about what you'll do with your prize? Shall you hang your swords over the mantle and take to pruning vines?
Non lo so ancora.
Don't really know yet. Might find the life of a hard-working vintner too tempting one day. Or maybe I'll just stick to the path, go on roaming, staring up at the stars after laying my bedroll at the roadside.
Ah, roadsides, bedrolls, and the sky above. I sense some poetry coming on, which of course brings to mind Dandelion. I can remember a night, not too far from here if I'm not mistaken. We hid in a cave while a blizzard raged all about. Does that sound at all familiar?
How could it not? We just set off to rescue Ciri from Vilgefortz.
Oh, our encounter with Vilgefortz. That is something I do not remember so fondly. But that first stay in Beauclair, far calmer than this one.
Seemed like a land straight out of a fairy tale back then. Its sole problem, cellars too small to accommodate all that wine.
Appearances, Geralt. Appearances, like Mamoons and Dopplers, deceive. So what did become of Vilgefortz?
Killed him. Sure wasn't easy, though. I so don't feel like going anywhere. Sit here a while longer?
So we shall, my friend. We have witnessed, and in fact on several occasions incited, many great and weighty events. After all that toil, I believe we deserve a bit of a rest.
That we do.
È finito così, raga. È finito così. Beh, allora, sul finale, secondo me, l'hanno tirato un po' troppo per le lunghe, ma davvero tanto. Però comunque sia narrato bene, veramente, veramente, veramente bene. Hanno voluto anche chiarire la situazione di Regis, insomma, su un lunghissimo dialogo di minuti e minuti per dire che semplicemente che è stato un po' buttato fuori dal gruppo di vampiri. Secondo me poteva anche essere risolto in qualche minuto, insomma, senza stare a tirarla troppo per le lunghe. Comunque per il resto tanta roba. Bello. Nonostante abbia fatto la cosa opzionale, mi è dispiaciuto di non aver potuto cambiare un po' gli eventi narrativi. La duchessa è morta ugualmente. Mi sarebbe piaciuta una scelta, no? Almeno in questo parte finale, cioè se fai la cosa opzionale e indaghi, almeno la duchessa si salva, insomma, per dare un po' senso alle mie azioni. Però nel complesso comunque tanta roba, cioè un DLC che è un gioco intero, perché mi ha tenuto impegnato più di 20 ore. I soldi, i 20 euro spesi li vale tutti, anche 30 euro, cioè è un giocone. Questo DLC potrebbe essere un gioco a parte, potrebbe essere un nuovo The Witcher, cioè per assurdo, no, insomma, l'avventura principale di The Witcher è molto più lunga, però paragonato a molti altri giochi comunque è un'avventura che ti tiene incollato ore e ore e ore, insomma. Tanta roba, molto più bello di Hearthstone, molto più gameplay, anche le creature rispetto le ho trovate molto interessanti anche da affrontare, e anche mi è piaciuto anche molto il fatto che la difficoltà alta, ho giocato a questa difficoltà alta come tutto il resto dell'avventura, come Hearthstone e The Witcher 3, ma in questo ho trovato proprio dei nemici che richiedevano un determinato approccio, quindi non bastava semplicemente avere il livello alto, aver livellato, ma anche comunque se nel fight capire come affrontare i nemici. Insomma, una cosa molto più intuitiva e basilare rispetto che magari affrontare un boss in Dark Souls, però comunque sia a livello di gameplay io credo che questo DLC abbia fatto un passo in avanti, addirittura anche oltre quello che ho visto, ho sperimentato nell'avventura principale. Sembra quasi che si siano migliorati, ok? È strano perché di solito gli sviluppatori quando fanno gli ultimi DLC fanno delle merde per tirarci su soldi, invece questi sono dei grandi, cioè hanno fatto un DLC che vale molto di più del prezzo del biglietto. Io spero che insomma il video vi sia piaciuto, se vi supportate il canale con un piacere e iscrizione è sempre stato un piacere. Bella, alla prossima, ciao.
Master Witcher, some unknown individual barged into the residence. I resisted as best I could, but to no avail.
Who is it?
Alas, they did not do me the best.
Unexpected as ever.